Hello, guys, and welcome to It's Called Football. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about some transfer targets, players that are probably going to get a move after their World Cup performances. The first player we're going to both be talking about is Dominik Livakovic.
He was honestly probably one of the best kind of outbreak goalkeepers in the tournament. He currently plays for Dynamo Zagreb, and he's never kind of played in a top five league, but playing for Croatia, he really performed just so well. Played 7 games, kept 2 clean sheets and 2 penalty wins.
He kept Croatia in a lot of games, and I think he's a big reason to why they went so far. Bayern Munich are the big team linked with him. So are Ajax, but if you had to choose, you're probably going to go for a team that's going to do
Yeah, definitely.
better in different tournaments. Leicester were actually offered him in the summer, and they didn't take it. So looking at what he's done now, I think that's definitely going to be something they regret. United are also linked with him. De Gea's contract is running out. That's looking likely, but I think Bayern Munich are probably the team that are most likely to get him.
He definitely deserves to be in a top five leagues team. Whoever does get him is getting a very good goalkeeper.
The next one that you thought is Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez, obviously the tournament's young player of the tournament. He was fantastic for Argentina. Very young as well. He's 21 years old, playing for Benfica. He's really kind of making a name for himself at the moment, and teams like Liverpool are already kind of looking at him. The big clubs want him, so it's just a matter of time and to see who kind of gets his signature. In the World Cup, 7 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, and like I said, got the young player of the tournament. So any player who gets that kind of award at the World Cup is going to get a good move and will be a good footballer.
Obviously, with Argentina winning the World Cup, there's going to be a lot of moves for Argentine players that have definitely made a statement this tournament. An Argentina player that I've gone for is Emi Martinez. He's another goalkeeper who's had a key part in his team's success. Another great penalty saver. Aston Villa have said they're ready for an array of offers coming their way, but he's stuck with a long contract, so there's no pressure for him to be sold. There'll be a lot of controversy around him, regardless of what team he joins, because of the way he acts with certain situations. Some people love it, some people hate it. The big teams he's linked with is Bayern, United, Spurs, and Juventus. They're all in need of a goalkeeper at the moment, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Next one I've got is Jude Bellingham. I think it's he's not really from the World Cup as much, but he was still fantastic for England. And as we've said in a different podcast, he's kind of starting to reinvent our England midfield, and he's a very good player. He's 19 years old. This age group, there's so many different players that are really good at the moment, and Jude Bellingham, I think, is leading the list. In the World Cup, 5 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. He deserved to go a little bit further just to show what he could do. But I mean, that's the World Cup. You can't really control that.
Now that he's proved his point on the biggest stage, it doesn't get bigger than the World Cup. I think now this is where the excitement really builds for Premier League clubs looking at buying him. Another young midfielder that's really impressed at the World Cup was Unahi for Morocco. Unahi wasn't heard of at all before the World Cup started. Angers, the team he plays for in Ligue 1, they prepared for it. They've extended his contract 4 months ago. So he's actually contracted until 2026. So if someone has to pay, they'll have to pay a lot. Otherwise, they'll have to wait until he's in his prime when he'll be astronomical amounts more. Leicester are preparing a 45 million euro bid. West Ham are also interested. He's been a key part of Morocco's midfield. He dictated the game. He ended lots of attacks from opposition. He had a massive part to play with the victories over Spain and Portugal. European giants like Barcelona are also expressing interest in the 22-year-old. Wherever he goes, I think it's another situation where he's shown his class.
The next player I've got is another Moroccan, actually, in Sofiane Amrabat. He currently plays for Fiorentina. He's 26 years old. In the World Cup, helped keep 4 clean sheets in 7 games for the club. So for a team like Morocco, obviously they did really well, but that is a very good achievement. I think he'd be a great addition to any Premier League side, any La Liga side, any Bundesliga side. I think he should definitely be looking for that next move. He's already playing for a decent side in Italy, but for a player of that level, I think he should definitely be looking at maybe a Europa League move.
I think Bouffal's being looked at as well. But I mean, Hakimi was the only big name that you really knew from Morocco. Maybe Ziyech as well,
Yeah.
but he's not been performing brilliantly for Chelsea. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of like unknown heroes that are now going to make their way to European football. Next one was Cody Gakpo for Netherlands. Before the tournament, in the first podcast, I said that Netherlands attackers weren't going to do well. They were all in the Eredivisie. They didn't play against world-class defenders, and he was a player that totally proved my opinion to be false. He scored in every group stage match. His shot accuracy was 100% throughout the whole tournament, so it just shows how clinical he is. He doesn't waste big chances. If he's shooting, it's going on target. If the goalkeeper saves it, fair enough, but he's not missing a shot, which is really important for a striker. In the Eredivisie so far, in 14 games, he's had 9 goals and 12 assists. He's proven the World Cup that maybe he just is that good. Again, Man United linked with a player. Man United are always linked with moves like this, so it's not a surprise. Ten Hag, though, has made this target very clear. He said that, yeah, Gakpo is definitely on my list. Liverpool are looking to hijack the move. It looks really exciting if it were to happen. But yeah, I think he definitely deserves regular football at the best level, and the Premier League is obviously the best place to do that.
The last one we've both got is a Brighton player in Alexis McAllister. He was very good for Argentina during the tournament and getting in 6 games, getting a goal and a World Cup final assist. I think you probably know more about him than I do, but he's clearly a fantastic player. And I think it might hurt you, but I think he deserves a transfer to a bigger club, maybe Champions League football, just because he was very good for Argentina.
It's happened so much, like we've had Ben White go, Suma, another big one. It's time that another player, it's either going to be Trossard if he gets back in form at the Premier League, that will go, but McAllister's definitely gone. Like you're coming back to a club that's been in the Premier League for like 5 years as a World Cup winner. He held his own against some of the best players in the world. Thankfully, if he does go, it's going to be for quite a hefty price. Brighton extended his contract a month before the tournament started. So we're all set in terms of if they've got to pay a lot because he's contracted with us until June 2025. So we're prepared for the interest he's going to receive. He's been, obviously, as a Brighton fan, I've seen him week in, week out. He's been a huge reason behind our success, like early on in the season. We're 7th at the minute, I believe. So that's pretty good for us, and he's been behind that massively. He got the goal against Poland to help Argentina top the group after quite a shaky start, and an assist in the final to help double Argentina's lead. Di Maria obviously got the goal. So yeah, he played really well. It's not just the goals and the assists, but overall he played really well. And now, unfortunately for me, but obviously fortunately for him, it's about his career developing. We only got him for like 7 million, so it's a win for the player and the club. But there's going to be a lot of clubs across Europe now tracking him, hoping to sign him in January or in the summer.
Did you kind of think before the World Cup started that like he could be going after this?
I think so, yeah. I think there's 6 or 7 players that Brighton like had called up to the World Cup. I knew one of them would be getting a move after the tournament. It's just difficult to say which one. Like at the start, I probably would have said Trossard more because he was my one to watch, but Belgium did rubbish, so we've probably got more of a chance of holding on to him for a little bit longer. I knew one of them would go. It's just a shame that it's McAllister because he was the best one there. It was always going to happen. Someone had to go. If you've got 7 young players on their way to the World Cup, one of them's bound to do well. So we're going to end the podcast here. That was 8 players that we think are going to get a move after their World Cup performances. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back soon with another one.